Good afternoon, sober family. I'm Wayne, and I'm an alcoholic. Today's daily reflection for 3 December 2020 in all of our affairs. Let's go. Well, all right, friends. Let's do this. We tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 106. I find that carrying the message of recovery to other alcoholics is easy because it helps me to stay sober and it provides me with a sense of well-being about my own recovery. The hard part is practicing these principles in all my affairs. It is important that I share the benefits I receive from Alcoholics Anonymous, especially at home. Doesn't my family deserve the same patience, tolerance, and understanding I so readily give to the alcoholic? When reviewing my day, I try to ask, did I have a chance to be a friend today and miss it? Did I have a chance to rise above a nasty situation and avoid it? Did I have a chance to say I'm sorry and refuse to? Just as I ask God for help with my alcoholism each day, I ask for help in extending my recovery to include all situations and all people. This is a great reminder that the 12 steps and 12 traditions that I practice in Alcoholics Anonymous, and you don't have to be practicing all of this, but in recovery we do learn certain skills and certain coping strategies in order to navigate our daily lives. With the 12 steps, I gain a complete set of tools in order to engage any situation that I come across. Now, it's my option to actually use those tools or to not use them, but as my recovery builds and grows, and some of you out there can relate to exactly what I'm putting down, as it grows and it builds, I have to include certain stuff and not dismiss the small things. For example, if I get into an argument with a coworker, or if I come across a customer that is not necessarily a pleasant person, I have options. I can tell the person to go kick sand and I'm not going to deal with them, and they can just go to another register or just leave in general altogether. Or I can understand what the person is putting out, because not everybody starts their day off good. And if I'm able to recognize that, I can engage the person in an entirely different way and without hostility. In my old drinking days, in my drinking history, I would have quickly dismissed someone and told them that they're nasty as hell and they need to move out. Or in my sobriety, I can simply say, hey, I understand why you are upset, and rephrase what they have said to me and put it in terms of, this is how I can help you. Or I can just dismiss them altogether. With that being said, I have a lot of engagement with alcoholics and I have a lot of engagement with addicts. And I'm able to sit and listen and to digest what they're saying to me and understand their problems simply because I've been there. I owe that same courtesy and that same patience with my family. Now, it's real easy for me as an alcoholic to kind of fly off the handle. And even as an alcoholic in recovery, I can sometimes be a bit arduous. Most of us can, and that's really human nature because conflict is a normal thing. But in my drinking history, I would have ran from conflict and I would have got out of the situation as quick as possible so I didn't have to entertain it. Because who the hell wants to entertain someone else's bullcrap? But in my recovery, especially with my family, with my son and with my wife, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, each person has their own day. And so depending on how they wake up or depending on how they deal with their own day, really reflects on how they interact with me and I interact with them. Now that's kind of running off a little bit, but for example, I always go back to the way my wife and son just throw towels like on the floor or leave food out or wrappers and stuff like that from packages and everything else. That's not my style. I was a soldier for 20 years. And so my style is dress right dressed and put things where they belong. I don't mesh up sometimes with how they do business, and it irritates the crap out of me, really. And as an active alcoholic, I got mad as hell, and I would yell about it, and I would scream about it and pout and boo-hoo and why isn't it my way and blah, 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 because that's how we are. In my recovery, in my sobriety, I take time to understand that's the way they've learned it. And it's not always my way, and sometimes I just got to pick that crap up and fold it myself. And that's not to say that I do everything by myself, but that is to say that I have to have a little patience and understanding for why it is they are the way they are. And a lot of it, well, shit, I was drunk for 20 years, 23 years, 24 years, whatever the day is. And, I have to take certain things with a grain of salt because I wasn't around for the better part of it anyway. Is that kind of sad and pitiful? It is. But alcoholism is a vicious disease, and so is addiction, and it makes us miss a lot. So we do owe people a little patience and tolerance, and not just alcoholics and addicts, because we dismissed a whole lot of stuff while we were using. And I think, in all of our affairs, we have to use the principles and traditions that are set forth in our recovery efforts, whatever your recovery effort is, and whatever keeps you sober. We owe a bit of time, so to speak, to our loved ones. And if we can't do that, we need to look inward and figure out why it is we are not on the path that we want to be on. Because I guarantee you that they're looking at us like, oh, why should I listen to you? You were high as hell for the last 20 years, or you were drunk as crap for the last, for me, 24 years, 23 years, whatever day it is. And, we do deserve a bit of that. However, our recovery efforts reflect where we are growing, and that goes all the way with amends and everything else. I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but that's because, this all hits home. What am I supposed to expect after being drunk for the last decade and some change? I can't expect everything to be my way. That's impossible. And I can't expect everything to be gravy, because it's not. Patience and tolerance, folks, that's what we got to give. That's what you got to give out there. Because if you're not giving it to your loved ones, that patience and understanding, I guarantee that they're not going to give it back to you. And that's where growth comes into play. Practicing these principles in all of our affairs. Everything. To include a traffic jam. To include somebody speeding in front of you. To include your boss, your coworker, your whatever, your CFO that you were so greatly, dismissive of while you were in your active disease. Now it's your time to show that you are growing and to show that you're not this big anymore, and that you do have pride and you do have humility, and you are able to be humble without expecting something back, and being able to be there for somebody. Right here, just as I ask God for help with my alcoholism each day, I am grateful to be a recovering alcoholic, and I am sober. And so I have to say thank you and help me get through another 24 hours without drinking. I ask for help in extending my recovery to include all situations and all people. Your family is important, and if you're not with your family at the moment, I guarantee they will come around. And that's where our health and our recovery builds, and we grow, and everything else that comes along with sobriety. It gets better every single day. And you just have to decide to be a part of it, folks. And that's where we lie. Not lie as in don't tell the truth, but that's where we are. What else, folks? I share the benefits I receive from Alcoholics Anonymous, especially at home. True that. True that. I don't even know why I spoke like that, but whatever. And it's of Alcoholics Anonymous. Well, if you're not an AA'er, let me tell you a couple. Benefits are you are part of something. You are part of something bigger than yourself. And believe it or not, that group of drunken fools in recovery, alcoholics in recovery, are a chain of wisdom. And to have that wisdom at your fingertips and to be able to take from their experiences by their strength and hope and all that, you are able to actually grow and take some tools home with you in order to deal with conflicts as they come along and deal with people as you are engaging, and to give that same love back to your family because they deserve it. They put up with you for so long, or they dismissed you like my wife did. She left my ass for almost 2 years, which I deserved, and to be able to share with her what I am doing now by my actions is amazing and astounding, and I couldn't ask for more. And for me, folks, God is part of that. My higher power is driving that train, because without my higher power, I'd probably still be at the bottom of a bottle or dead or in jail, like I say all the time. If you're getting value out of this video, boom, hit that like button so that this video can go in circulation. By the way, folks, that's the daily reflections, and that's something to chew on. Quick shout out to Nikki from Twitter. She is recovering from COVID, as well as, alcoholism and addiction and everything else, and she is strong. And throw her some love if you come across her on Twitter, or if you know her. And definitely strength there. And we appreciate her and appreciate the fact that she's able to drive on and still share her experience, strength, and hope, and as she overcomes the effects that the COVID-19 virus had on her. So, awesome sauce. Life's a garden digging, folks. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next one.